Go ahead.
All right, well, welcome to our Legacy Peak team call. My name is Julie, and I'm excited to introduce the speakers that we have for tonight. But we have just come back from something that's considered a pillar in our business. It's called the Branson Boot Camp. And if you're new to Juice Plus, you'll learn soon that we have big rock events. So we consider our big rocks, if you consider like a jar, they say life is full of little moments, right? And if you consider it taking a jar and you've got sand, which is all the little moments, and you have these big rocks and you're trying to fit them all together. Well, if you get the big rocks in first and you pour the sand in, it'll fit into the crevices of life and it can all work out well. But if you start with the sand and then you try to cram in these big rocks that are really important to your growth, they likely won't fit. So Branson Boot Camp is a big rock. We also have our 2 conferences every year. We have our April conference is coming up in Sacramento in mid-April, April 11th through 13th. And then we have 2 boot camps a year and a regional. And so I have been blessed to be going to the Branson Boot Camp for 4 years now. It was the first big event I went to. It was the event that gave me the vision that I had to just stick with this business and really turn it into something amazing. And people will always say, okay, I can't go, but tell me what you learned. And the truth is, even though we're going to share some takeaways, you cannot duplicate being at these events. There's just nothing we can communicate with you tonight that is going to be as powerful as being there. So that's why we have chosen to have some first-time attendees share their takeaways with you, hoping that you'll glean something from them, but that mostly you'll be inspired to take that next big rock and put it in your calendar and do whatever it takes to be there. Because I can assure you, everybody that is sharing tonight, it was not easy for them to get there, but they did not regret that decision. So at this point, I'm going to throw it to my good friend Julie and have her unmute herself and just share with us her takeaways, and then she's going to go ahead and pass it forward. So take it away, Jules.
Okay, well, I'm looking at the time, so I will honor that with 3 minutes. But I was definitely one of those people saying to Julie, okay, yeah, well, tell me what you learned. And I had heard Jeanette say, and I had heard Julie say, and many people say, you just got to go. And so I did. It was my first boot camp, and I understand was one of the best boot camps that has ever been. So I picked a great one to go to, and I'm so glad that I did. And I would say for sure that there's no way that you can duplicate this for somebody. I was so grateful to have somebody on my team there with me. And I mean, for my business, there's nothing better I could have done with my time than to go. And there definitely was a lot of things to overcome to get there, but I am so glad that I did. So that's number one, that yes, I will show up at these big rock events. They definitely have value. The speakers were incredible. I think a couple of the things that I don't actually even remember who said what, but somebody, it was probably either Wendy or Catherine Lee, said I think it was Catherine Lee, and she was talking about when you invite somebody to join your team and they say no, which normally that's probably what people are going to say, that really is an indicator that they are in what she called a pre-contemplation stage and probably have some insecurity and just afraid to dream, and there's fear involved there. And so I just really took that as I need to see something for them before they can see it for themselves. And I need to continue to not be pushy, but be consistent and just sharing. I really am thinking about you when I'm at these events. I really can see you doing this. So that was a great takeaway. And then the other thing that I really heard was just how many exposures did it take you to say yes to Juice Plus? Was it the first time? And there may be some brilliant people out there that get it the first time, but for most people, it definitely does take hearing things a few times. And if you really care about them, you will share it with them. And if you don't, you probably won't. So when we care more about the other people rather than we do our own feelings or being a little uncomfortable, we will continue to share with those that we care about.
If everybody can unmute, that would be awesome. All right, go ahead, Jules.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And then just lastly, I think the quality of the people that I saw speak from the stage, every time I go to a Juice Plus event, I am just reaffirmed that the type of people that are drawn to this business are the type of people that I want to surround myself with. So yes, the people that spoke make a lot of money. And I want to be like that, but not because they make a lot of money, but because of who they are and what they're doing with the gift that they've been given, what they're doing with the wealth that they've been given. Their character spoke volumes, and was super impressed with that aspect of it as well. So at this point, I'm going to pass it off to Rachel Roman, who I had the pleasure of getting to know a little better this weekend. So Rachel, are you set?
I'm ready. Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, great. My name's Rachel Roman. I was at Branson this weekend and had an amazing time. I have been to Branson once before. I think it was 2 years ago, and enjoyed it, but this one was very different. I don't know, between Catherine Lee and Wendy Campbell and just the format and all of the participants and speakers, I just came away with so much personal growth and excitement and belief in what we're doing and the product in this community. I went through a year last year that was crazy busy, started 2 new businesses, left my corporate job, thought I would have all this time to do my Juice Plus business, and it just wasn't in the cards. So this was really what I needed to reconnect and re-energize and reprioritize what I'm doing. And I just feel so committed to this passion that I have within me. And so I think what I like the most is just was from Catherine Lee, and just how she was so encouraging and supportive of, we're all built and designed a certain way with our gifts and our purpose and our passion, and how you really can turn that into a profession. And by following that path, how many people you can impact. So that was really reaffirming to me. I also learned some amazing skills and tips and things that I can do to reactivate my business and just put the ball in motion and do things on a daily basis, not with a huge commitment of time, but something that can grow. So the strategy of the 5 and 1, 5 customers, 1 new rep, 5-1-1, it just something clicked with me that I just need to focus on one day at a time and being consistent. And I think that's probably what I'm going to put into action, is that daily method of operation. I'm sure I'll tweak it along the way. But just combining my belief with that daily action and seeing some results. So I'm so excited. It was awesome. So with that, I think I'm at my time. I'm going to pass it off to Jess, who is also on Team Godwings. And it was such a pleasure meeting you this weekend. I think that's another thing that I love the most, is all the new people that you get to meet. So Jess, are you ready? I'll hand it off to you.
I am. Yeah, I will just echo. Can everybody hear me okay? Oh, good. Okay. I will just echo what Rachel said. I mean, the awesome part about it was getting to meet all of the amazing people in the community. And the biggest thing that I loved, so Branson was not only my first time to Branson, but also my first just event in general. So I love this common theme of personal development, because I'm on that journey myself. So just being surrounded by people that are continuously striving to get better. And I think, Julie mentioned this, that 6 to 8 exposures is what it takes before someone may become a rep or buy a product. So for us, we have to overcome some objections. So I think just this constant growth of personal development is going to help us build this mental toughness to be able to continue to drip on people and continue to share this story. So I love that theme of personal growth. I mean, the biggest learning, I guess, it had to be from Wendy Campbell, just her whole presentation around the power of Juice Plus. I have never seen that before. So I was just blown away about all of the research behind it. I mean, that we have in our hands Mother Nature's chemotherapy. I mean, for that was just, it's just crazy. 1 in 2 women have cancer, 1 in 3 men. Like, we have so much power and what we can provide for people. And then I think the biggest thing, or another big thing, and what I'm going to put into action, is what Catherine Lee, she talked about her Sunday evening planning. So she sits down and writes out, who are the 10 people that I need to reach out to about Juice Plus, or just 10 people I need to reconnect with, or where throughout my week could I provide value? If you can't get to 10 people those other 2 ways, then who are like my 10 follow-up people? Who are the customers I need to be reaching out to? And then thinking rep, who are the people that I want to be reaching out to build my dream team, to build your two by 2 by 2 by 2. So I love that methodology, and that's something that I'm going to implement is Sunday planning, and then the 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. I think I said enough twos. So yeah, it was an awesome event. It got me super fired up. So I'm happy to share those takeaways. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Wendy. Oh, Wendy, I think you're still muted.
There you go. Oh, she's going to get it. It's okay.
I unmuted her and we kept going at the same time.
Oh, okay, all right. I was like, I know I hit the button. Okay, so I'm going to jump out of the gate because I am such a sensitive person that I tend to get, like, oh my gosh, they're not calling me back. But what I loved what Catherine Lee, she's like a theme. She should be the whole theme for the Olive Juice Plus. What she said was, get out of the tornado. Don't add your stuff to whatever noise is going on with them. And I think that was so key for me, was to say, okay, something must be going on. And just to be a friend and be charitable with people. And it's not all about me. And to remove myself from that and my fears and not create this tornado, which I think was, it was key for me. What I think I learned that I absolutely loved was, what is my purpose? What is my, what are my goals? And actually not just saying, well, I want to sell Juice Plus, but actually putting some kind of concrete picture with it, creating a story. And these are all general terms. Like, what's my story? I get to come home and create a vision board and all the things I want to put on that board so I can see it daily, which I think is important when you're doing your own business or a virtual business. And, it's kind of like you're not packaging your own things, and you're not sending things out. Somebody's doing it for you, so you can almost feel like, I don't know what the word would be. You're just kind of like a ghost. You're just take Juice Plus, So I loved the fact that it kind of made it more real for me to have a purpose. What is my purpose? What do I want to do? And actually come home. This segues to the next thing, is the action plan. How many of us are actually trained business leaders, right? So we subscribe to something that is going to be helpful to people, but how do we implement that? So I came home with just, my brain was on fire with all these business plans I could do. Oh, I got to write these names down and keep things in order. They talked about Teamsy, where it can actually help you keep yourself organized. I didn't call that person. Here's what I should maybe say. There were just so many wonderful kind of like, we've been there, we've done this, and this is what works. And for my first time I've been in business, but I've never been to a conference business that was, we want to help you. It's kind of like, yeah, do this, this, and this. I came home, I was on fire. I joined an on-call women entrepreneurial thing last night just because I was just like, I should join it. I'm in a business and I need to treat it like that. And I think that's the key. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Maddie.
All right. Okay, so what I took away, I feel like I'm still digesting everything, and I feel like there's just, I don't know, I was looking through all my notes and it literally took me an hour to like figure out what I was going to say because there's just so much. But I guess one common thing that I noted like kind of throughout the weekend was, and something that I really needed was just the theme of like believing in yourself and self growth. So just a few things people said. Dr. Yumi Termel, I think that's how you pronounce it. She got up, and one of the things that she said was, start with taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Another thing Wendy said was cast your own vision and then help others find their whys. And then our very own Emily, she was up on stage and she said, and she always tells us and her team, get clear on what you want and what your why is. So when you get clear yourself on what you want and what your why is, and really take the time to invest in yourself, the more you can build up the energy to inspire others to do the same. So that was a huge theme throughout the weekend with everyone that spoke. Something I learned, and this is in business and in life, but there's going to be things in this business that cause reaction. I mean, we have lots of conversations every day that, somebody says no, or somebody, comes back with some comment that, it causes a reaction. Something, I think it was Catherine Lee that said it, we don't have to chase or escalate every feeling that we have. And several times throughout the weekend, what she did is she had us take 3 deep breaths, and she just said 3 is key for your biology. And so I think that that's awesome to do. She said, ask instead of accuse and ask instead of assume. So instead of reacting when someone says something like that, just ask good questions, because you don't know where they're coming from and they don't know what they don't know. So that's a really good tactic, just breathe 3 times and come back to it. So that's something that I learned. And I think Jess is the one that brought this up as far as the action part. Again, something that Catherine Lee said, it's the simple, practical practices that create greatness. So she went through the 6 questions, who haven't I talked to about Juice Plus? Who haven't I connected with in a long time? Where in life am I going to be this week that I can share Juice Plus with? Who do I need to follow up with? Who would I like to share the dream with? And how can I serve my team? So I think that, taking that concept and putting it even more into action, if you practice that for 6 weeks, something that they talked about was 5-1-1, which, without getting into the weeds, is every month, 5 new Trio capsule customers, 1 new HLP, and 1 new VF. So that's something that I'm going to put into practice and really try to do every single month to really, set my business on fire and continue to build. So that's the action step. That's all I've got. I will pass it on to Emily.
Thanks so much, Maddie. I love all of these takeaways. It's getting me fired up. I actually took my notebook out tonight, and can you guys hear me okay? I just realized I was on the wrong Wi-Fi. Let me switch really quick. Okay, you should be able to hear me now. I just switched Wi-Fi. Is that much better? Okay, cool. I always forget that it sets to the wrong one. But no, all of these takeaways is just reminding me of this weekend and what we get to, it's Monday night now, and we're going into this new week and almost a new month. And I think, Julie, I love how you described the Big Rock events in the beginning of this call. And something when I think about really any event, but for sure Big Rock events, because we do learn so much and we're exposed to so much, is, what I've learned is during the whole weekend, starring the things that we want to take immediate action on, which obviously there's a lot of things, but narrowing it down to say, this is what I am going to do right away. So even if you weren't in Branson this weekend and you're listening to this call, I highly encourage you, I'm going to post the recording. I highly encourage you to go back and listen to it again. I think there were so many things dropped on us tonight that were so inspiring, and I feel like things that we can put into action whether we were here this weekend or not. But starring those things that can be action plans that you want to put into action, because here's the thing, you guys, we can go to these events, we can show up, but it's the action that matters. It's the intentional work that we take away from these events, because things happen when we show up, but more things happen when we take action. So just a few things to wrap up this call tonight. And like I said, I highly encourage you to go back. I feel like I even need to go back and listen to your guys' replays. There were so many good takeaways. But Something that stood out to me this weekend was Catherine Lee. She said, the people we are going to impact may not even be born yet, because with her foundation and everything she's done, there's people being helped now that weren't even born when she said yes to this mission. So remember your long-term impact, remember your long-term legacy that you're wanting to leave, whether you know exactly what that is or not. She didn't know what Pure Hope was for the longest time. But just knowing that your impact is going to continue on so much longer than just what you're doing right now and this year and next year. So I'll just kind of close with a few things, and maybe you're brand new to this, maybe you've been in it a few months, but something that I think it was Catherine once again, she said, our business and our life is really kind of like a football game. And, there's going to be times where you lose possession. There's going to be times where you feel like you're losing or you're down by a couple points, but there's always a chance for us to get the ball back. And maybe I'm putting my own perspective and spin on this. I don't know if she went this deep, but this is what I heard and I just wrote down, get the ball back. It's never too late to get possession again and make a comeback. And so with that is schedule and protect your priorities, she said. Schedule and protect your priorities and know that it's all for your why. You might have to say no to some things. You might have to say yes to more things. You might have to do things you don't really love doing, but schedule and protect your priorities because you're working towards your vision and your goal. You have what it takes. You just have to believe it. Everything you have now, all of you right now, even before your growth, we're all in this personal growth stage, but everything you have right now is enough to be where you need to go. So, and then, Maddie kind of said this already, but she mentioned, putting these things into action and, staying intentional for 6 weeks, you'll see change. I mean, can you stay consistent every single day for 6 weeks? It only takes 3 weeks to create a habit. And so imagine what will happen in your business for the next 6 weeks if you really just put your head down and do the work and, inspire others. And I know a theme that I said on stage this weekend that I think Catherine repeated was, just get out there and connect with people. Just smile at someone because you never know how far it will go. And I think sometimes we get wrapped up in this, recruitment or going to get team or, whatever that may be. You're overthinking the process whatsoever. But just go out there and have authentic connection with people because that's really where the passion and purpose is going to come from. And it's going to be so rewarding. So I am so grateful that you guys got on here tonight. Thank you guys so much for sharing your hearts. And I will definitely be posting this recording so that we can all listen to it over, send it to our team that wasn't able to make it. And definitely Big Rock events are huge to be at. So I think our next Big Rock is Sacramento, April 11th to the 13th. Mark your calendars now. It's going to sneak up on us. Start looking at flights, get your flights booked, figure out how you can get a free conference ticket or how you can get an early bird priced one. And we will see you guys in Sacramento. So good night, everyone.